Hello, my name is Alicia LaFave, and I'm an elementary education major, so I wanted to cater this presentation towards a third grade class, and the literacy strategy that I chose was a KWL chart. Now, most of you are very familiar with the KWL chart. The K stands for what I know, the W, what I want to know, and the L for what I learned after reading the text or after the lesson was presented, whatever it may be. Now, the standard that goes along very well with the KWL chart is to ask and answer questions to demonstrate understanding of a text, referring explicitly to the text as a basis for answers, which I think goes hand in hand with the chart because number one, you write down what you want to know, and then from the text or lesson, whatever, you get the answers that you wanted to know. And that's one of the great things about the chart. But before I introduce the chart to my students, I want to show them a simple, not very descriptive, but very visual clip of the water cycle to kind of gain some interest and grab their attention before we dive into the lesson. Next, I want to ask the students if anyone knows anything about the water cycle already. And it's nice to, activate that background knowledge, and they can share with their friends, and that might help activate some background knowledge of other students that had maybe just forgot and needed a little reminder. So now that we've kind of went over what we know about the water cycle, it's a good time to introduce the chart. So I would just have printed out a bunch of these for all my students, and I just got it from readwritethink.org. And if you haven't used it already, they have a lot of great resources, but this was just a simple printout chart, and it was free, and it has each column, and it's clean, and students have a lot of room to write. So that's nice, and it even defines up here what each of the chart headings mean. So not only are they going to hear it from you, they can see it on the paper, which is better that way. So once I hand out the chart, and of course I've explained what everything means, I'll have the students fill out the K column on what they already know. Make sure you give them plenty of time to do that. Some of them will write a lot, and some of them won't write a lot, and that's fine because they're all going to, get the same amount of learning from the reading. So after we fill out the K chart, it's time to fill out the W section. What do we want to know? And I think that's great in the chart. The W section of the chart is great because it gives students a more active role in their own education, and is going to engage their minds in the reading because they're reading to find out something that they want to know, not something that they have to know. So, but I can't see a downfall from that. I can see that students will be searching the text only for the answers of the questions that they have, and there might be a lot of information that goes unabsorbed because they're so focused on finding those answers. But I think that's just one small downfall of the KWL chart, and there's better things happening than the worst things, and that's only one that I could think of. So now, as a class, I want to popcorn read the little article I have about the water cycle. I think popcorn reading is good because it's a good way to make sure everyone's paying attention, and it's a good way to find the people who aren't paying attention. But once we finish reading, I will ask everyone to share what they've learned. Did they have any questions that went unanswered? Was there new information that maybe wasn't a question of theirs to begin with? And did they have all their questions answered? And I think it's important to touch on the questions that maybe weren't answered because as a class we can use other resources like a textbook or even Google just to answer those questions that they have to make the reading more meaningful. So after that, I would have the students pull out their charts again, and they can finally fill out the last column, what they learned, and hopefully that column is going to be more full than the other two columns. That would be ideal anyway. But once they're done with that, I would have them turn it into me, and I would not necessarily grade it, but just go over it, give them some feedback, comments, or questions, just so they know how they're doing on the lesson, and I can see if they're understanding it or if they're just totally clueless. But I think that's one of the great things about KWL charts is that you can use them from the time students can write all the way till now. I think I would still benefit from a KWL chart, and they just continue to be effective regardless of the age. But yeah, thanks for watching.